Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming for this informational meeting about Chopt, the 3rd District, and the expansion of Chopt. We're waiting on Tommy Banyan, but we have Terrell and Kevin Newcomb, Terrell Hughes. And Terrell will probably get started first. So I just wanted to reassure you we're almost ready. Okay? So thank you so much again for coming. So we have here today, we have Terrell Hughes. He's the Director of Public Works. He's going to go ahead and introduce himself, and Kevin Newcomb, and Tommy is driving around the corner, Tommy Banyan. So he's the 3rd District Supervisor. He'll be right here. So thank you very much.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. No, thanks for coming out. So,
talk into that little mic.
can you hear it? Okay.
Louder.
Raise it up. Can you hear me? Yes. All right. Is that better? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon. So, Mr. Brandon, he's on the way, so he'll come up, I guess, after. But he asked that we just kind of get started. So, I'm Terrell. I'm the Director of Public Works for the county here. And, we've been working on, I guess you've probably heard about this Chopt Road project for quite a while. So my understanding was, we were invited here to give an update. So I've actually invited Kevin. He's the Chopt Road project manager. So he's been guiding this project through for the last couple of years and moving it to the point where, hopefully we'll be moving it to construction. So with that, I'll just let Kevin give a quick overview, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions that you all may have. And like I said, I think Mr. Brandon will be here by the time he gets finished. So I'll be right here.
Thank you. Can you hear me? All right. Like I said, I'm here to give you a summary of this long-term project. It's been around since early 2000s, and I've been the leader of this project since 2020, and this just to give you an update of where we stand. The Chopt Road Improvements Project is going between Barrington Hills Drive and about 1,000 feet east of Gaskins Road, and that's the scope. It has been the scope for about 20 years now. We're getting to the finish line, and we're actually seeing some final glimmers of hope to get this thing built. It's not on. My bad. There we go. And the overall scope of this project is to go to 4 lanes of curb and gutter with a raised median to provide sheltered turning movements for cars so that to reduce rear end accidents, and sidewalk on both sides of the roadway. We're here to improve traffic distribution and the safety throughout the corridors as our number one goal. We're going to be doing modifications to the traffic signals at Cox Road as well as Gaskins to increase the traffic flow through the area, through the intersection. And we're putting in storm sewer and drainage to improve any of the storm sewer concerns that might be existing currently. And basically expanding the county's overall pedestrian facility network. Give you a little status of where we are schedule-wise. February of this year, we had final authorization or all the property rights that we needed to move forward to utility relocation. So in February, we got our property rights. We handed it over to Dominion and said, begin your work. Dominion Energy has been authorized since February to begin relocation of their poles ahead of this project so that when we come to build our road, there's no poles in the middle of the road. And they were authorized in February, but through some delays, they actually plan to start tree clearing in advance of the work next month. Then we plan to go to advertisement for construction in August of 23 next year, and begin construction as early as April of 24, with a 2-year construction window to June of 2026. Yep. So, like I said, we started off the total project. We needed 63 parcels that were affected by the project, and to get property rights. That property rights is defined as right of way, any easements for the utility company so they can move their facilities. And in order to get everything authorized, we had to file certificates of take or condemnation on several parcels to proceed with utility relocations. As it stands right now, we have 2 parcels that we still haven't settled with completely, but the county's working to get a resolution on those last 2 parcels. Like I said, I told you Dominion was authorized in February to begin their work, but due to some delays that were in their way that they didn't foresee as well, was an environmental permit and a land disturbance permit that's held them up. So that's why they're starting in October next month. This project has a preliminary engineering, that's all the design, was $2.9 million. All the right-of-way that we needed and utility relocations cost was about $6.8, and we have a construction estimate of $21,500,000 for a total of $31 million total cost for this project. And that's all I have really. If there's any specific questions, we'll get to that. But I just wanted to give you a status of where we are and where we stand today.
How far east is it going to go to Pemberton?
It stops short of Pemberton. That is correct. I had that question a little earlier from a young lady.
Short of it, but it will be 4 lanes all the way. Then once you go on the east of Gaskins, is it going to be 4 lanes instead of the funny half an hour where you know it?
Sorry, we're having a hard time here. We want to start.
The question was, how far east of Gaskins is it going to go?
1,000 feet is when it transitions back to the existing typical section of the roadway.
So it's not 4 lanes all the way to Pemberton.
It wasn't envisioned back when it was initially started to go all the way to Pemberton. So
It was?
It was not. That's why we stopped where it stops. Anything else? I think we can.
You need more specific information about Barrington Hills Drive. Exactly where is
Can
it?
we please
Exactly where is Barrington Hills Drive? Thank you.
That
Do you want me to?
sure.
So Barrington Hill, may I introduce
Microphone, please.
I'm sorry, my name is Tommy Brennan. I'm the supervisor for the 3 Chopt district.
Come closer to the mic, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Barrington Hill is as you guys come out and go left, and you start going down 3 Chopt, it goes 2 lanes, and then all of a sudden it widens to 4, right at the school. Barrington Hill there's a bunch of small houses that have been there for forever, and then there's Barrington Hill.
And the school is Pocahontas.
The school is Pocahontas, yes ma'am. Yeah, so anytime you go left out of here and you go over Church and it go through the curve and then up the hill, then all of a sudden it gets wider, like as you're going up to Publix. Right there is where, from there coming to almost Pemberton, is where we're taking care of water problems. And honestly, this project was first proposed, I think when I was in high school at Douglas Southall Freeman. And that was in '87. And then it was actually, the first design was 2005, which was the first year that I was actually planning commissioner. And we were all excited. And then as it moved forward, there has been a group, not Cedarfield, but a group that have just literally neglected to speak to us. They wouldn't return calls. If we knocked on the doors, they said, we're not interested in talking to you at all. And we literally had to file, which was the first time the county's actually done that. We had to file to make people actually talk to us so we could buy the land. So the good news with that is once you do file, then they can start with the utilities. So we started moving forward with the utilities. Sadler Road is another road that just started 4 years ago, and we followed the same, just file. Anyone that doesn't want to just file. And then everybody says, oh, well, we don't want you to take our land. Then we'll actually negotiate, and you can pay way too much money for the land as it stands. So the county apologizes. I apologize, because to know that when I was in high school this was proposed, it's ridiculous that it's taken this long. The last 4 or 5 years have actually been because of 4 or 5 people that just literally wouldn't speak to us. So I can answer any questions, I hope.
When they start the utility work, which will be next month, will the traffic be interrupted while they're working on the utility poles and things like that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's off the side in the easement. Traffic issues or lane changes or construction zones being set up won't come into play until they're actually doing the construction of the road. The utilities is going to take some time to move, which is why we pushed. I don't think do we actually have all the signatures yet?
Am I missing 2?
We're still missing 2, but they are at the table talking to us.
Correct.
So we still don't have all the signatures for the land, but because we went to court and said we were going to court, then that's what got us where we're at, and we could get our utility people actually rolling. Dominion, Verizon. Yes, ma'am.
Is the reason for not going all the way up to Pemberton cost overruns?
The original plan was to take it to Pemberton, and we
what
never take it as far as we're taking it. The purpose of it was to widen and get rid of some drainage issues on this part of 3 Chopt going back towards Pocahontas, and also to get it wider going back to Pocahontas. There's some 4 bays, big concrete wash areas that 3 Chopt can and will flood. So all of that was the plan to be addressed, and the Gaskins to move traffic in and out of that intersection was the key for extra turn lanes and the ability to move, to take the congestion on that intersection was number 2 on the hot list, fixing the drainage, widening it, and then that.
So the 2 inside lanes that eventually will be there will be left turn onto Gaskins, so that people are not illegally going into the right lane to get on 64 because somebody did a poor job of construction?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next thing is why when people end up moving into rural areas and there's 1 lane each way, does the counties wait so long to start addressing these issues because you build it, they'll come?
Well, I can tell you building roads is firstly very costly. Number 2, the county has kept up for the most part, but when we had 63 properties to buy, and it took us 8 years to do it, that's another reason why it takes so long. Plus, whenever the county does a road building job, like 3 Chopt, I think starting in 2005, I was here at Cedarfield 2 or 3 times with our public works, and at that time, Mr. Cackley, and I know with Sadler, just to get through the design phase was over a year, because we take input from the citizens, we redesign according to the wants and needs of the citizens, then we come back. So the whole process takes some time. 3 Chopt is the most ridiculous one that we have ever, I mean, think about it. It was proposed when I was in high school, down the street. So,
How much does eminent domain play into these people not communicating with you and selling the land?
in the past, most projects were worked through and negotiated very well. So Henrico County, who has always had the policy, we do not take your land. And we do negotiate and in most cases pay a lot more money than the land's worth. But we were always proud to say we do not take land. Because this project couldn't for 5 years move any further because of people just saying, yeah, I'm not interested in talking to you. That's when we moved into that position, which we're still not taking anybody's land. It just forced their hand to come and actually speak to us so we could write them a check.
I have a question with regard to which end of the project are you going to start with? Down here at Gaskins or up there at Barrington?
We're starting at.
I think we're starting towards Barrington.
That's what I thought. We're starting at Barrington, and you will see staging areas set up first. You will see the drainage issues hit second, and then you will see the grading and then the road coming up. So it's going to move this way. But by the time they're ready to pave this will be 3/4 of the way done. Is the way Henrico jobs are usually staged out. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Not bad for a supervisor, huh?
Yeah, you did that.
One more question. Are we going to get a stoplight at Cedarfield once this project's finished?
There's not one proposed currently. Are you asking, is the Cedarfield community asking us to consider it and look at it and possibly do it?
Yes.
Because if we can't just,
Asked for it for years.
You did a traffic count. Traffic coming in and out of Cedarfield.
or do you know that? I do not know that study.
There's been a traffic
Have you introduced
analysis done
yourself?
several times.
Okay,
That's
good.
what they're saying.
Yeah, I'll address this one. So I think in the past when this was looked at, and the study goes back a number. Oh, you want to take the mask off? All right, sorry. This study goes back a number of years, so it's been a while. So
It's not been more than 2 or 3 years, no.
okay, well,
It's recent.
so they actually determined that the signal wasn't going to be part of the project. But I will say this: so with the project going in under construction as a separate project, that is something that we can come back and look at. So it's not part of this initial design and this initial project that's been approved. It's got state, federal funding, but we will come back again once this project moves down the road, and we will look at it again. So
Before you have to tear everything up that you just built.
yeah.
You know, I mean, that's common sense tells you when you have a home with people that are the ages that they are, that is an accident waiting to happen. So we really do need a light there, and it should be part of the plans in this construction.
Yeah, no, I understand, and so that's part of the challenge. So this project, I don't know, the cost is still up there, but the $30+ million, a lot of that is federal funding, so some outside. So that's what makes it a little challenging to add that as part of the actual project. But I am saying we have mechanisms to install signals after the fact. So that is something that we
Don't
will.
put the grass median in, we've been going by without it. That'll cut the cost.
Well, and what he can't say that I don't care, and I will say. You just heard me say, are you officially asking us to do this?
Yes.
So if that is the case, it won't be part of this project. It can't, because it's federal and state funds and it's been designed and approved. But that doesn't mean we can't do it. So I've heard you. I guarantee it'll get done. Okay, we do with the county. We have the ability to do our own traffic lights now. Of course, we do have to get state approval.
Two things. Number one, do we need to produce a letter to make this request more official?
No, I just heard you.
Okay. Number two, will the Deep Run Creek crossing be elevated or enlarged for more volume to go through?
Yeah, the deep, that is part of the flooding issue. That forebay is being made larger or wider, was the question. The creek, do you want to take that?
I didn't hear it. I was chatting.
The creek, and that is prone to flood. That's being widened.
Yes, that is one of the major improvements of the huge culverts that are there are being widened on.
So
locations.
I was correct. We are widening those culverts to get a better velocity, more capacity to take care of the which you probably have seen in the past, flooding.
Dolly's back here, and then I'll give you.
Right now, with things the way they are, between 4:30 and 6, it's impossible to make a left-hand turn out of here. And once you start your construction, as it moves closer to us, there's going to be even a bigger backdrop of traffic. Is there any way we could have a temporary light up there? Or does that have to go 5 years from now when the project is all finished?
That's sort of my question also. If this is going to take 4 to 5 years to finish,
How do we get it done quicker?
why not put the light in now?
Put a temporary light in and then come back with what I can absolutely tell you is I will start working on it,
Thank you.
and I've got to figure out how that will be done because of the reason I'm sitting here baffled. I'm thinking about the construction staging. If we put a temp light up with wire, how is it going to stay during the construction? So you're seeing me play the whole construction of the road out in my mind real quick, and I was like, I don't want to say no, but we've got to work through that.
It takes consideration that we can't do right now on the spot.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So the answer is I'll have the team and I personally will start working on that right away.
I don't understand why it couldn't be a permanent one right now.
Because we currently use concrete and steel poles because they're more stable, number one, and while they're doing construction, while they're moving utilities, while they're doing all of that, we can't really mess with the design that's been approved by the Fed and the state. So a temporary is temporary, that we can act as if it's permanent and then put the real pole in and all of that as a separate project. Right as before this is opened up for completion, we can do a secondary project on top, but it can't be rolled in, and that's what you're hearing these guys say. Oh, we can't screw with this money. That's federal and state money and county. So this would be a separate county project. Am I right?
That's correct. Yes.
Thank goodness.
Okay, question. The state has some requirements where it sometimes won't allow traffic lights close to each other. And I know that county controls its roads, but are you gonna have some issues with the state and that distance rule with Gaskins to Cedarfield Parkway?
No, it's not close enough. Terrell, is that correct? We wouldn't have an issue between Gaskins and here or Church. It's in the middle. There's plenty of room. The only concern I would have is initially, because it's a downhill coming eastward. That concerns me because it's a downhill and people drive like nuts. So
Which is why we need a light.
I get it, and it's coming. I promise. That's gonna come back to haunt me, but I promise.
In a previous meeting here, 4 years ago or so, we were told that when they did the widening, even though we could not authorize the light, that the wiring would be put in so that it would not have to change anything. Did that get lost, or were we not told the truth?
Was that in this current design?
I'll have to evaluate. I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that, sir.
It might be worth checking.
Well, I can say this though, with the design, nothing would need to be taken out to put a signal in. So we're gonna the project's gonna include sidewalk. It's gonna include all new curb and gutter, 4-lane road. So, and then the median's gonna be left open. So there really, all that would have to happen after the fact would be to add the signal. And some of the things that we're doing with signals has changed. So it would be whatever the latest we're doing. So there wouldn't be any rework or wasted money to add a signal after the fact.
You said sidewalks. Will the sidewalk, when you come out of Cedarfield, if you turn to the right towards Gaskins, would that continue to Gaskins Road?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Sidewalk would be contiguous. Yeah, so you would be able to walk for over a mile. How many?
Yeah.
Yeah. However long the project is, it's going to have sidewalk.
But that would continue to Gaskins.
Yes, ma'am.
You guys are letting me off that easy? Does anybody have any other questions on anything? And then I want to tell you about something that happened recently.
Is there any chance of getting a drawing of the project to see?
Yes.
Absolutely. We have a slide, and if you would like a full board.
I mean, I have the pictures of at this scale. This is the entrance to.
I will bring by Monday for you to put here for all of you a cardboard board with.
You want a big board?
Yeah, big board.
That we could understand.
Yeah, that's why we didn't pull this one up.
Yes, we can do that. Now give me till Wednesday. And the reason why is when we pull up and we just literally print, it will be like this, which is insane. So let us do the marker, have a color that shows sidewalk and has the dividers, so it's plain to see. We should be able, Henrico County should be able to handle doing that.
Do you have enough right of way for the traffic signal to be added after the?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Can you show on there where the entrance to Cedarfield is at?
Does that have a
Point.
point?
Virginia United Methodist.
Right in here is your entrance.
Is there going to be a left turn lane into Cedarfield like there is now?
Right there is a right, left turn in, and then a right, dedicated right turn in as well. And then this way.
Did you hear the answer? So you have a dedicated left turn lane coming in from Gaskins, and you have a dedicated right turn lane coming in from Church. And I promise that we'll get a cleaned up, easy version, different colors for sidewalk, turn lanes, and all of that.
I have one other question. I have had someone I was turning left into Cedarfield, coming from Gaskins, and someone made a U-turn right in front of me. So I think no U-turns there.
Well, and let's let it get finished, because it's going to be a lot wider than it was
well, I'm
before.
just saying, when they made that U-turn right in front of me,
We can always slap a no U-turn sign up, but let's see before we do that. I think the light would rectify most of that craziness. Anyone else? Does anybody know Frank Miller?
Frank Miller?
Do you? So Frank is an unbelievable captain and of a boat, and we were talking this past weekend, and he said the one thing that Cedarfield needs at Deep Run Park is some more benches. So I will tell you, they will either be put in on Friday or Monday, and I told you I thought I could pull it off in a week. It might be a week and a day.
Reserve a day.
So Deep Run's going to be getting some new benches in different spots. We're going to do more than just at the pump track. And the ribbon will be cut on the bathrooms that are at this end in the next month, I believe. And then the new fitness center, in addition onto the rec center, will be hopefully finished by the first of the year. Yes, ma'am.
I'm concerned when we leave.
I hear us asking for a traffic light, which I'm very much in favor of, but it's difficult right now to pull two cars side by side going out of Cedarfield, when one's going right and one's going left. Will there need to be a widening of the Cedarfield Road where it enters this roadway?
I'll speak to
That will be
correct. The right exit when you're exiting the Cedarfield Road is being widened a little bit to accommodate that. And part of negotiations with the attorney representing Cedarfield, we meet plan revisions to accommodate just that request.
Thank you.
Nothing else? Well, then I'll wrap it up. Oh.
Tell us about the bond referendum.
I was here just a month ago talking about the bond referendum. All right, this is my favorite topic that I have now memorized 5,000 times. The bond referendum, Henrico County is different than cities. Counties in the state of Virginia, when it comes to a bond, we have to ask permission of the citizens. So a referendum's put in place. Cities, they can do whatever they want. They can issue bonds whenever they want. We can't do that. So Henrico County has always had every 5 to 7 years a bond referendum that is for major projects. And I can give you some highlights of those projects that we're looking at in this bond referendum. If and please go vote. in this bond referendum, there are 5 questions, 5 categories. Public safety, we're looking to build a better training facility for fire and rescue. And then there's some other, 4 questions, did I say 5? Okay, so public safety. The next would be public works, which we have some drainage and flooding issues countywide, and we're looking at putting $5 million towards that. Believe it or not, most of the issues are St. Mary's area east, and that is probably because of old engineering. So $5 million towards that. The bulk of the referendum is for schools, as it always is. Tucker High School, which was just built, and Highland Springs, those were bond referendum projects. Tuckahoe Middle was a bond referendum for renovation. So we'll be looking at close by here, Jackson Davis, a new elementary school out in the far west end, and then upgrades to schools and a tear down redo of an elementary school in the east end. So like Tucker was 90 million. So they have the bulk of the number. Terrell, do you know that number off the top of your head, schools?
Just under 300 million.
Yeah, I was going to say 300 million. So that it's right around 300 million out of 511 million. Then with Rex and Park, there's a park on Kane Road. That will be a park on Kane Road. It's 220 acres that Mr. Cackley and the board bought back in, I think, 2004. I think it was 2004 or right around 2004, 2005. And that will be kind of a threefold project because it's the site of a future high school. There's going to be playing fields, ball fields, and then those ball fields will be used by the school and also Rex and Park. And then there's also going to be a no-kills animal shelter, which Henrico's current animal control building is very outdated. It's very small, and per working with the manager, we have come up with a no-kills. We're going to build the building, and I went out and recruited the Humane Society and said, what do you guys think of this idea of a no-kills? And they said, oh, we've always wanted to build that, but it costs too much to build. So we're going to do a private-public partnership where we're going to build it. We'll make sure that it keeps going, and they're going to run it. And there'll be spade and neutering and all, vets and permanent no-kill. Matter of fact, after this, I have to go to the unveiling of the name of it because we had a contest for that. So the other part with the bond referendum is Henrico County has never put ourselves in a position that it's going to end up being detrimental to our citizens in any fashion. We have always issued bonds, and we have never raised taxes in, I think it's 42 years now. Matter of fact, we just lowered it again this year. So we're lowering taxes. We're not increasing. So the confidence, Henrico County is also AAA bond rated, which is the highest rating you can get. There's only 33 locales in the United States that are AAA rated. We're one of them. With that being said, we had a higher bond rating than the United States of America about 9-10 years ago. They dropped down to, I think, single A, and we were still AAA. So the confidence is that we don't waste the money. The other promise I can absolutely make you is we're asking for permission. We have no idea what the next 2 years is going to be. We see that the shoe looks like it's going to drop on the economy-wise. Just because we have permission doesn't mean we will. If interest rates jump up, last bonds we did, I think we came in at an interest rate of 1.2, which is remarkable. So if interest rates in the bonds market jumps up to 7, 8, 9%, we'll push pause. We won't issue bonds. We'll wait. Henrico also is one of the only locales that we refinance the bonds. When we see the rates drop, we go and we refinance them. So to date, I think we've saved the taxpayers right around $40 million with just refinancing. So that's what 4 questions are going to be on the ballot. We, unlike Chesterfield throws out there's a bond referendum, vote yes or no, and they don't really tell you what's in it. We break down everything that's in it. We break it into 4 categories. If you don't want the parks to get money, but you are very concerned about schools and very concerned about public works, and don't vote for parks. And that's the way we've always done it, which is the fairest and most transparent. There's nothing in that bond referendum that's going to pull something that you don't want along. Everybody else can pick. But please, there's only one election this year in this area, and please go out and vote, even if it's a very small election. Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell us about Virginia Commons project?
Sure. Okay, so VCC was a mall that had gotten run down. It had an absentee owner that wasn't putting a penny into it and became an issue. Regency Square was redone by a developer that was changing the concept of malls. That same developer went and bought VCC. With that being done, Henrico County said, what a great place for sports tourism location and a convocation center. Currently, we pay $280,000 a year to VCU, so our children can go graduate in the Siegel Center. I'm sure VCU isn't happy with us, but we need somewhere that's ours, and to stop throwing $280,000 a year away. So we have, again, with the private public, we have put in and it's up and being constructed, a sports complex where there will be 12 basketball courts, or I think 15 tennis courts, because it can convert to tennis courts, and 30 pickleball courts, and 15 volleyball courts. It can transfer back and forth in one area, and then there's the center stage court that has the stands, much like the Siegel Center, that are go up same capacity as the Siegel Center, and in there, that's where we would have convocations. We can also attract like the NCAA basketball and volleyball and those because of that stadium. Henrico has been very successful with sports tourism. We generate over $68 million a year in sports tourism through taxes with hotel tax, meals tax. Meals tax goes directly to schools. The hotel tax comes to us and the convention center. But we've been very successful with sports tourism. We've never had an indoor facility that we can get sports into. That the private public, there's going to be a manager that manages the whole thing. It will also double as a rec center for our citizens.
Does it have adequate parking?
Oh yeah. And there'll be 2 hotels also built on site. We have nothing to do with it, but a hotel company is building 2 hotels. Just heard that's definite last night. So that's good news. Is that it? Come on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tommy, Kevin, and Terrell. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for letting us come in, and you've given Terrell and I a lot of work now. We've got to have a board in here quickly, that's easy, and a new traffic light as fast as possible, correct?
Right.
Okay, done.